My screen says we're live. You might have to refresh the Living Force page to make sure you see something.
There it goes.
All right.
I get a Super Smash Brothers 3D commercial.
Well, maybe we should just talk about that today instead.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool. It's got Mega Man in it, and I'm all for that. I like Mega Man.
You're a big Mega Man fan?
I wouldn't say I'm a big Mega Man fan, but it was an alright game.
It was just okay game.
I spent many hours. I spent many hours playing it, Mega Man 2 as a kid.
Oh, okay.
So much so that my dad had to kick me outside just so I would go play outside sometimes.
They are quite good games.
Yeah.
Or if you're TGO, they're just okay games.
It's just okay. You could ask my wife about that. It's like she'll make something like really good food-wise. I'll be like, it was okay.
Darth BS says, "Oh, come to Erica, not a chance." I don't know what that means. You know what that means?
I don't get it.
All right. Well, are you ready to kick off episode 1 of our 4-episode special?
Sure.
That didn't seem very enthusiastic.
Oh, sorry. I was stretching and I almost yawned at the same time. So.
Oh, they're getting a major echo on you. Let me turn you down.
Yeah, I think an echo is a bonus, man. You get 2 times the TGO.
That's almost a little scary to think about. All right. Can people confirm is Scary Echo TGO gone?
I am not the great and all-powerful Oz. I am more powerful than Oz. Just saying.
More powerful than Oz.
Yeah, just saying.
Oh, well. Okay. All right. That is one way to go about it. No one's saying if the echo has gone away. I'm just going to assume it has.
We must assume it has.
They say it's better. All right.
Everything's better with TGO.
So, wow. All right. Yeah, that's some stuff.
I'm getting warmed up, so let's get this going.
All right. You can see that in the stream then? Yes.
Oh, I see some Jubba birds.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, I think last week before, we had a major spoiler courtesy of Fully Operational Podcast.
The Fully Operational and Frozen in Carbonite podcast.
What?
Frozen in Carbonite is the podcast.
Oh, wow. I thought
Fully
it was
Operational.
Fully Operational.
Fully Operational is the YouTube stuff, I believe. Oh, Darth BS will correct us.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really thought it was just Fully Operational. I'll be 100% honest. It should just be Fully Operational. I like that a lot more than Frozen in Carbonite.
I know the podcast is called Frozen in Carbonite.
I see. All right. Well, we ended up with the spoilers from those guys, and we were gonna break down the set a little bit, kind of give our thoughts, discuss it, if you will.
Yep. Last week, the world was abuzz about this set, and I just didn't see it.
Well,
outside of one card.
Before we jump there, I wanted to just say, this is kind of what we were hoping to be able to do in September. You know, we were really looking forward to this kind of stuff. So I'm glad it's finally arrived. I'm glad that these spoilers have started coming out for Between the Shadows.
Yeah, I'm happy to see spoilers.
Yeah. So the objective, what are your thoughts?
It's poop.
It's
I'm not a fan of it. I mean, there's just not enough creatures. I don't really care if I start the game with a Jubba Bird in play or a Tauntaun because I'm fairly certain it's not going to stay around long.
Sure, but I mean, I gotta play devil's advocate and say that starting the game with a resource, with an extra and free resource that could potentially make them quote unquote waste a Force Choke seems okay.
I mean, yeah, I mean, starting with the free resource is fine, but I mean, there's more exciting stuff I want to be doing.
More exciting stuff.
Yeah,
I want to hear
like,
about this exciting stuff.
well, like anything else is more exciting than that.
Just anything else is what you would rather do than put
I
in
would rather
Jabba.
have Gamma Run, May the Force be with you. I'd rather have Leia's objective, Secret of Yavin 4, the Falcon's objective. The only objective that I would put to the bottom before this one is Balance of the Force Obi-Wan's.
Watchers in the Wasteland. Yeah.
Yes. And then I still don't feel good that I had to keep this.
I can't wait.
No, I'm serious. Like right now, this just does not feel like an objective that I want in play. It might get you a resource temporarily, but at the same time, like it just doesn't feel like I care about it.
Yoda Man says it can replace the one Gamor that you have to take out now. Zing.
I'm pretty sure I'm replacing it with a better set.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like there's only one card in this set that I actually care about, and it's not the objective. Actually, I should say there's really two cards that I care about, but I'm more excited for the one than the other.
Well, what are your thoughts on Jabba Bird?
I mean, I think it's completely reasonable for one, two Force icons, but I really think those are irrelevant because you're probably gonna sack it as soon as possible. You know, I mean, it's a good way to turn off the Emperor. Other than
Yeah,
that, I mean,
I think its strength will rely on the strength of your opponent's cards.
yeah.
Like I think Emperor is number one target. I like that it has two Force icons though.
I mean, it seems like a completely relevant defensive card in a way. It's almost a pseudo corrupt official. You know, it can turn off character's blast damage in a way. You know, so like if you could lose the game, this guy can keep you from losing the game. But that's not enough to get me excited about it.
Yeah, I'm okay with him. I don't think he's gonna, dominate the light side meta or anything, but I think he's fine.
Yeah, and I
I
definitely
just wish it
don't
was a
want-
one of and not a two of. If it was like one Jabba and two of the spiders, I'd be much happier.
I was just gonna say I don't want, like, if I ever played this set as a two of, I would not want four of those cards in my deck.
Yeah.
So-
All right. So what are your thoughts on the spider then?
The spider is actually one of the cards that I like in this set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that it's a pretty solid defender. You know, it allows you to attack with your units, and then you still have something. You know, it's a fairly resilient unit when it becomes a unit too, because I believe it's got what, 5 health.
5 health. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it can get pretty big, and then it's got the unit damage and tactics, and it's all black. So with that 5 damage and the black icons, you really don't care if you win or lose an edge battle, unless of course they have a bunch of tactics. In which case, then you start to care.
Yeah.
And then that's what the Jubba Bird's for. You know, you just turn off their stuff, turn off their icons. But yeah, I definitely like the spider. It's interesting. I think once it hits about 3 resources though, so that's you play it, you activate it twice. I really think that's kind of where the limit's at of its, you know, once you start using it more, it kind of, you know, loses its value. In my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and I kind of disagree on that. Like, I think you don't look at it. Me personally, I don't look at it as it cost me 1, and it cost me 1, then it cost me 1, then it cost me 1, and now I'm paid like 5 into this investment. I don't look at it that way. If this was any other game, I probably would. But with you getting like all of your stuff so easy to manipulate and abuse, and oftentimes, especially as a light side player, if I'm finding my resources, I typically have more resources than I need to spend. I don't know. I think his one-time investment each turn is not too bad.
Well, he's
But
probably
again, I
going to
haven't played
die
the
by
cards.
time. He's probably going to be dead by the time you pay for him the 3rd time anyway.
Yeah, I think the better players are going to learn, like, there'll be some very choice blocks with him. You know, when you can try to minimize damage that he might have coming in. And he's a tactics icon too, so
Yeah.
he can make it very dangerous for the dark side to attack, because if he survives, he's going to lock out one of their other characters that they probably
Yeah.
want to defend with. So
Yeah, he can possibly affect 2 units, in a very bad way. Kill one,
yeah.
lock one down. So it's like I said, he's one of the cards that I liked.
All right. Well, what about the next one?
Was that Life Creates It?
Yeah.
I'm not too excited about this one.
No.
No, I mean, you have to have a Dagobah objective for one. So I'm restricted to the Yoda sets and this. Maybe we get more Dagobah down the road. I don't know, but like right now, I'm just not too excited to put all my creatures back into play. Like maybe the Dagobah nudge, gets that dial back down again. But the dial is pretty much irrelevant anymore for tiebreaker's sake. So I don't know. Just not
I'll
excited
come-
about this card.
I'll come back to this one. Like I want to discuss this after we discuss the next card, I guess.
Okay.
I really like Size Matters Not. I think it's much better than people have discussed so far.
Yeah, it's a very good card.
Yeah. Whether or not the set will provide, worthiness to play it, I don't know. But
Like I would love to have 2 of this in my deck, but then that means I've got 4 Jabba Birds. And 2 Life Creates It.
Oh, so what you're saying is, once we get like 3 new Emperors, these Jubba Birds, you're gonna want 4 of in every deck.
Probably not. I don't know.
Like once it's to the point where the opponent can just run really good dark side cards.
You know
the
what this
Jabba Birds
Jabba
might
Bird
be.
is good for? Turning off the Emperor from the challenge deck. Because he's all tactics all the time. I think he's like, 5 or 6 tactics icons?
I think he's better for Vader, right? Doesn't Vader become just like a beast in that thing?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Vader gets
Yeah.
like some serious like blaster damage or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so going back to Life Creates It, you and I talked before, and I like this set quite a bit. This to me is kind of something that I'd like to see a little bit more often, a little more frequently with Lightside, where it's kind of a thematic support set. It seems like for the last year, we've been getting like super powerful Lightside sets, and that seems a little
No.
wonky to me. And this is, to me, like, this is the kind of support set that is better than, say, like oh, now I'm totally blanking. Attack Pattern Delta, right? Like Attack Pattern Delta is so conditional, and it's so like combo-y, and if it fails, you're just gonna fall apart, And this support set, like, if you decide to make a creature deck, if and when creature decks become viable, this set will be a staple in said creature deck.
Well, yeah, because Journey Through the Swamp just goes and gets you any creature, right? Or is there
Right.
a cost tied
It
to it?
gets
Oh,
any
3
and
or
all
more.
creature, and wait, Journey to Dagobah. What did you say?
Journey Through the Swamp.
Oh, Journey. Yes, it's any creature that costs 1 or less, I think.
3 or lower.
Is it 3 or lower? Good lord.
Yeah.
So to me, I really like this. This to me is like good design. This to me says this is going to see play eventually, and we're giving you like an enabler set that will have a purpose later on. And it's not that I don't think Attack Pattern Delta would. It's just I like cards that are good on their own, I guess, or I don't know. This to me is a good support set. Attack Pattern Delta is. There's a reason we don't have a Snowspeeder deck, dominating the meta or something. Not that we'll have a creature deck dominating the meta at any point, but I feel like this set makes it that might be the case in the future.
But you're going to have, you would have 4 Jabba Birds in your deck that, literally do nothing but unopposed damage if they get unopposed.
Yeah, but, not if there's a card in the future that says all of your creatures get +2 unit damage icons and +1 blast damage icon.
That would be absurd and will probably never happen, but okay, we can dream.
I mean, I don't think anything like that is too absurd. I mean, we've got a pilot that gives all of your fighters edge 1, right? Like, isn't that the Baron
Yeah, Baron fell.
Yeah. So I don't think it's too absurd. Like I think the set's going to be more impactful later on. I like that we're getting it now, where in a time where Lightside doesn't need better cards than this.
Yeah.
Moving on, unless you've got anything else.
No, I got nothing.
All right. Boom. That just happened.
What just happened? It hasn't done anything yet on my screen.
Oh, it will.
Oh, I better not need to refresh again.
No, it's there.
There it goes.
There you go.
There's the Luke set.
All right. So this was brought on by FFG's article just last week, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Let me see. It was the 7th, so yeah, last week.
Now, is this in Between the Shadows?
Is what?
Is this the Rebel set from Between the Shadows?
No, this is a Rebel set from Attack Run.
Oh,
The
okay.
4th Force Pack.
Of
The Rogue Squadron cycle.
So this is some good cards in Rogue Squadron finally.
Okay.
I know I'm being facetious. I think that this set looks really good as a whole. I'm excited for this set. I'm more excited for this than anything they've spoiled so far from Rogue Squadron.
Okay. I like the set too.
Well, let's discuss it then.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the objective?
Well, it's a 5-2. There's not much to it, other than it's Rebel only.
Yeah, Rebel only. That I think is significant.
I think it's weird, is what it
Yeah.
is. It's very odd. Like it's Rebel only and it has no game text. It's just a 5-2 Rebel only.
I'm starting to feel bad for Red 5.
Yeah, because it's in these affiliation only sets.
It's like they're telling Red 5, you do not get to play well with others.
Yeah, yeah,
Your friends are very restricted.
yep. You can
But,
play with
you
him,
know-
but not this guy.
Right, right. All right. So, not much to say about the objective itself. It's pretty solid.
I mean, a 5-2, nothing to sneeze at. It's solid.
All right. What about Luke?
What about Luke? I mean, he's a pilot. He costs 3.
Well, let's say this. For Rogue Squadron, it seems that we kind of need to evaluate units based on their non-pilot play and on their pilot play.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a vanilla 4-cost Luke with 3 health.
Okay, so in we've now this is multiple versions of a vanilla Luke, right? This is all
Well,
pilot Lukes get to be vanillas, I guess.
well, yeah, because the speeder pilot, yeah,
Sure.
he was just speeder pilot Luke, and
Alright.
this is X-wing Luke,
So I'm okay with him as a vanilla card. I think him as vanilla Luke is perfectly fine.
and this is going to be our 4th Luke.
Yeah, I think
That's
right.
crazy. That's
1,
crazy.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, fourth Luke.
Because Between the Shadows, this one,
Well, as Darth Bucket says, we'll get it sometime in 2016.
stop it. We're gonna fourth Force Pack. So yeah, that's sometime next year.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on him as a pilot?
I think he's interesting. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean I think he's good, but I think he's interesting. So the ability is when he's focused to strike as an attacker, you discard the top card of the opponent's deck and deal X damage, where X is the printed force icons. I think that's interesting. You could get, you hit the Emperor, you get to discard the Emperor, and you blow up an objective in one shot.
Mhm.
I mean, that seems really good. Now, that's going to be the exception. The norm is probably going to be you hit for 1 or 2 extra,
Right.
But I mean, I think for 3, it seems a little expensive for an extra. You're basically paying 3 resources for an extra couple of damage whenever you strike. So I mean, do you find paying 3 resources is reasonable for an extra, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 damage? We'll say 2 to 4 damage, because you never know, he could get one-shotted after he strikes. So
I personally, Personally, I think he should have cost
You're
2 for his pilot ability.
You're that excited about him that you yawned.
Well, to me, it's just a bit hard to justify 3 for a random number. You know,
Right.
It's not just a random die roll. It's just completely a random number.
Like you could get a 0. You could hit a twist of fate or a resource and get 0, and you're just kind of like, oh well, I paid 3 for 0.
We've got Darth Buckets is quick to point out he can go on any vehicle,
Yep.
which is true, but like I don't know what vehicles are we putting him on.
Rogue 3.
He says there are ways to get it back. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know what that means either. But
Unless
I
it's
just
talking about the event, which we'll get to in a minute. But
oh sure.
oh, redemption, he says.
Yeah.
Wait, get back what though? Oh,
Would Luke die as an enhancement, right? Not a character?
I think Luke would die as an enhancement. I don't know. It's never really came up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, I just can't see myself paying 3 for this repeatedly.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. Like I would happily use him as an edge card and then play that fate card. What's that new fate card called that they've spoiled?
I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, but I mean, you get to use him as a fate card and then you can put him back. So
Yeah. That seems good.
That seems completely reasonable.
Yeah. No, I think is he 3 or 4 Force icons?
He has 3 icons.
Okay, it's the Luke from Between the Shadows that's 4, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Stay on target. Norman calls out there. That's the name
Yeah.
of the fate card.
Yeah.
I think he's fine. I don't have anything against him, but I keep going back to we have Vader's tie that has the random ability, and it doesn't see any play, and I think it doesn't see any play because of its random ability.
Right.
So
if there was a way, if there was a card that allowed you to stack the top of your opponent's deck, you might see this being a little bit better. Is that what you're saying? Or no, not at all.
No, because it's like a combo, and that it's not a good enough combo. Is that combo going to win you the game? No. Is it going to be annoying? Sure.
Yeah.
Norman pointed out it was Ben that pointed out first. I'm sorry, Ben. My screen didn't catch me there. Yoda says this Luke's pilot ability wouldn't do much against a superior's number-based tie deck. Most variations of that have a very small number of Force icons. That's very true. And Vader's tie does make you discard, which is very true. So moving on, Red 5. What are your thoughts on Red 5?
It's another interesting card. Because you can either have the blast or you can just change it to unit damage.
I think Red 5 is the best card in the set. I like it the most.
I would agree. It's a very solid 3-cost unit.
Yeah.
I mean, all its icons are black.
Yeah.
And
it potentially gets better.
Yeah.
So I really dig Red 5. I think you play the set more for Red 5 than you do Luke.
Yeah, and this isn't my favorite card. My favorite card is the next card.
You like R2?
I love that R2.
I don't understand shields. Why does he give shielding? That I can't wrap my head around.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, that R2 on Rogue 3 is just annoying. Right? Especially if he's the R2D2 on Rogue 3 is just annoying.
Yeah, when you and I have talked, I've said, hey, this guy on Rogue 3 is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, and especially if you've got like Wedge on there.
Yeah.
Because now you got shielding and you're going to remove a damage.
We've got Darth Buckets pointing out that Astromech Droid upgrade on Red 5 is pretty good. You can one-shot anything at that point.
Yeah, because you can change the 3 blast into the unit 5-unit damage.
Right. And we've got Darth BS asking if Piet's stock has increased with the new fake cards. We'll come back to that. We'll come back when we get over to the fake card there.
I'm curious. Oh, is he talking about this new fake card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the next card? Is that
of the
Field
R2.
of Force or something? I don't have my screen very big right now.
Use the Force, Luke.
Use the Force, okay.
Use the Force.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my best Obi-Wan impersonation, and I'm probably failing miserably.
I was gonna just say I would not do that again.
Okay, I will do it again multiple times now. Whenever this card gets played, I will scream, "Use the Force, Luke!
We have an update on FFG's website.
Get out!"
They have just announced the new FAQ and tournament rules for all of their games.
Nice.
All right, so we have a new fake. Well, no, I'm sorry, I was skipping over the card. What are your thoughts on Use the Force?
Use the Force, Luke. Look at the top card of an objective deck or command deck. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like helping Luke. So, other than that, it seems so-so. I mean, it's free, so it's not like it's just costing you a card. And it's not like it's costing you a good edge card because it's only got the one Force icon. I mean, maybe you get lucky. So, I mean, it's like splicing in, but a little. Is it different than splicing in? Well, yeah, because could splicing in look at the command deck?
Yes.
So
Splicing
this is
only looks at the command. Or no, no, no. I'm sorry. I thought you meant objective. It only looks at objective deck, I believe.
okay. So this is slightly better than splicing in,
Yeah.
since you can look at either or. So I mean, maybe you look at the top card and it's a really good card. You get to ship it to the bottom,
Right.
or you get to pair it with Luke's ability. Either way, it kind of goes away for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not excited about this card, but I mean, I can see some situations where it might be cool. But for the most part, I mean, it's just going to look at it's just going to give you knowledge. You know?
Yeah. No. It's never like a bad card to play, and it costs 0. So burning this out of your hand if you need to is perfectly fine. Saving it if you've got the combo set up, have some fun,
Yeah.
I guess. But
I mean, if you start the game with this in your hand, you can, it's a way of drawing an extra card.
right. What are your thoughts if you play it? You're getting ready to strike with your uber teched out setup, Luke and Red 5 nonsense, and you use it, and the opponent shows a 1 Force icon. Do you keep it or do you toss it?
I'm gonna say toss it because at worst you just probably get another one.
Well, you could hit a 0.
You could, but I think the chances of hitting zeros are slimmer than we're probably giving it credit for, maybe. Because
Yeah.
really, Darkseid has been playing fewer twists lately. Now,
Sure.
granted, this could all change by the time this comes out. But really, the only things that are zero icons anymore are your resources and the occasional twist of fate. So,
Right.
like, unless you're playing like the TIE Fighter deck with superior numbers, if you see a 1 against that deck, I say you just keep it. But maybe against any other deck, you ship it to the bottom.
It's something to think about. I like strategy. I like decisions, and I like seeing a card that can make me pause and possibly make me think pretty hard about my
I mean,
decisions.
it's definitely matchup based.
Yeah.
I mean, I think against Sith, you could probably reasonably ship it to the bottom. I mean, unless
Sure.
it's if it's a good card with one Force icon, like if it's say a Force Lightning or a Force Choke, maybe you want to keep it on top just to get rid of it.
Right.
Which seems completely reasonable too.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are your thoughts on? Is that I have you now? Is that
I have you now. I think it's a scary card, but it's probably scarier in theory than maybe it will be in application.
it's restricted to Rebel. So going forward, if your opponent starts Rebel, you can now think, okay, they might have a Heavy Now in their deck.
Yeah.
Rebels
Well-
have Rebel Assaults already, so they have some spot removal in essence.
Yeah. Yeah. Being restricted to Rebel means you have a harder time winning Force struggles too, unless
Yes.
you've got unless you're just like literally just splashing this set into a Jedi deck. In which case, well, then you might have better edge battles. But I don't know how much this is going to splash into a Jedi deck.
I think the one thing that this entire set does very well that has me looking forward to its release, especially more than anything else from Rogue Squadron that's been spoiled, the thematics. Like, there's not a single card out of place thematically within this set.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, you got Luke. You got his You got his starfighter, then you've got R2, who was always in it. You know, his astromech.
Yeah.
It's basically just like running the trench, like the objective says. So yeah, it definitely really feels that way.
It's kind of neat. Like it's not something we see all the time in this game. Like sometimes they're just like, oh, and here's a tauntaun, just because it's Hoth, you know. And it this set really hits it out of the park.
Or
In
like Hoth survival gear in the Rogue 3 set.
yeah,
Just one of those out of place cards.
I think Darth Buckets. I actually disagree. I think. I think it's. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not, but you know, I don't think it needs text to be thematic. Um, but someone was talking about it when it first got spoiled. I'm sorry, I can't give this person credit, but someone was pointing out that Luke's text wouldn't work on Trench Run.
Nothing works on Trench Run if it references an objective. If it
Yeah, it
says objective on it.
doesn't Luke say objective damage or something? His font's too small for me to read, but
I've been pulling him up from FFG's website. His ability says when an enhanced unit is focused to strike as an attacker, discard the top card of an opponent's deck and deal X damage to the engaged objective. So yeah, it will not work because you're not engaging an objective.
yeah, I thought that was incredibly hysterical that you've got this entire very thematic set that doesn't actually work with Trench Run.
Yeah, well, you know, you win
But it's
some, you
funny
lose
because
some.
this wasn't it wasn't designed to work with Trench Run. I always thought of Trench Run as kind of like a throwaway fun set from Core, you know.
Like, do people want it to work that way though? Because like, it could be a completely terrible idea to have it work that way.
You
Like,
know,
you hit the 1/6 in their deck, the Emperor Palpatine, you know, and then all of a sudden you're hitting for 6, 7, 8. You know, maybe being able to one shot it is not the best of ideas.
but you know, like to be fair, like this discussion we're having right here. This is an article that I would love to see from the designers of this set. Like I would love a conversation if it was intentionally designed to not work with Trench Run. That's a very fascinating concept to me. I would like to hear about, you know, what kind of playtesting they did to make that determination. You know what I mean? Like what kind of went into it to kind of create this set that doesn't actually work well with the main thing that it would be thematic with, you know?
Yeah.
But moving on, I really like I Have You Now. I think it's really good. I think your point about not winning many edge battles in Rebel is huge. But you know, we also don't know what's to come. There might be some things that help out Rebels with edge battles. Light side definitely needs help in winning the game. So
Yeah.
I could I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But
They really need help winning the game.
yeah, it's interesting because it's not I Have You Now is not just when attacking or defending, right? It's just that particular edge battle, right?
Yeah, it's as if you win this edge battle.
Yeah. Which I think is pretty cool. Like I think there's definitely some power level there. It kind of reminds me of supporting fire in a sense of like if this goes off correctly, it will be very good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, this fake card definitely has me concerned because if it's in like sets that are too good, like if this set turns out to be like Light the World on Fire good, like I Have You Now just scares me to death.
Yeah.
Like I defend with my Emperor, who you cannot kill unless you have this one card, and then they have this card, and I'm just like, seriously. So I don't know. It's gonna make for some very tense edge battles. You know, when the set comes out.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our next topic.
Show.
Are you ready? Do you have anything else to say? I really like if I said anything that made it seem like I don't like the set, that is not. I actually like the set quite a bit. I just like to analyze things, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what it does for the game. So.
It's a very interesting set. Like I like several cards out of it. So
All right.
should be fun.
Darth Buckets mentioned a couple of things that we should probably discuss real quick. The article did give us some insight into that particular set, right? Didn't they specifically say there's going to be other main characters in there?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it says you'll see Keon Farlander Boba Fett and a Slave One, and then we see Vader's tie advanced, and I believe it says, I thought I saw somewhere, yeah, Darth Vader with his specialized tie advanced.
Yeah.
So this pack is going to be like heavy on like the mains and their fighters. Like we're getting a pack with Luke, Red 5, Keon Farlander, and whatever his ship is, and then Vader and his TIE fighter, Boba and Slave One, and then whoever this Platt O'Keefe is. I mean, seems like it's going to be a solid pack.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm really excited for this. Unfortunately for me, it's like the fourth pack, so
Yeah,
that's a bit bummer. But I'm excited to see the cards. Um, I still think sets like Chewie, like Wookiee Life Debt and Asteroid Sanctuary are still drastically better than this. But I feel like kind of similar to the Jubba Bird set. I feel like it's good to see this kind of stuff, especially this stuff, which is obviously more powerful than the Jubba Bird set, where you get the idea that the game is going to start seriously expanding soon.
yeah. I would like to see more Rebel decks become playable, vehicles become, instead of there just being one or two good decks. Like I would just love to see multiple, several, more than two, more than three good decks that are tournament worthy.
For sure. All right. Well, we can move on to our next hot topic. Boom.
The breaking news of today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of tried to sneak that one by us. I think. I don't know.
No, I assume that the updates went live before the article post went live.
That seems weird. You would think that they would go simultaneously.
Yeah. All right.
So
Well,
the changes. The
so
changes.
this image, this is a scan image of what I did to my cards after the news. Just ripped them
You are
right
lying. You didn't rip those lines that straight.
up. Right? It's a bad Photoshop work there. Yeah. So big news today. We were told that the current errata, or well, I guess is this our first errata?
No.
What was the other one?
Um, they were just like some minor things from like core set, and they've been in there since the beginning.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not technically our first one.
All right. Well, it's our first major one. How about that?
It's definitely our first major one,
Yeah.
and it's a
Uh,
it's a bit of a doozy, I guess you could say.
so 3 weeks before Worlds, we're told that Gamor is now restricted to one per deck, and that May the Force be with you now only works once per turn.
Limit once per turn. I mean, it's something. I think the limiting of Gamma Run to one is a bigger deal than the change to May the Force be with you.
I wrote a whole article on why these cards should not be touched. I'm definitely disappointed they were touched. I
They
don't think.
obviously did not heed your counsel.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think these things needed to happen at all, but they have, uh, and I don't really feel one way or the other.
See, I'm okay with the changes. I don't feel like they shouldn't have been done. I'm happy that they at least did something. Um, Whether or not it was enough remains to be determined. It seems to be the popular opinion that it's not going to be enough. But to me, to a one of, and knowing that hired hands is, I'm only going to fight against two hired hands and one marauder, seems um, a whole lot better than fighting against four and two. Because once the marauder's dead, you've kind of guaranteed that hired hands will never come back again once they're killed. So for
Sure.
me, the Gamma run change is a bigger deal than May the Force be with you. Because I actually don't think limiting it to once per turn is really going to slow it down much. I think you're still going to win the Force consistently with it. And it still allows you to attack and defend with your best unit, unless that best unit's already committed. So,
as I've said other places, my issue with affecting these cards is that the biggest change is going to be to other decks not called Force Lock.
right.
And I could care less about these changes. I've already stated my piece on whether or not they should have happened, but I've got a deck that Ben has talked about online a couple times with Gamorrean Run and Liberty, and I loved playing that deck. It was so much fun. And one of the reasons it was so much fun was because it could actually hold the Force. That it didn't have to just say rely on Liberty to hold the Force.
Yeah.
I could use hired hands to lock down their guys if I need to take the Force that way. I could try my luck on a Gamorrean Run flip, or I could commit Liberty, and if I had the objective from that set to double my vehicles, there was a lot of things that I could do to try to maintain Force control. And removing 50% of one objective from that deck, I don't think the deck's playable anymore. I think the deck has lost 50% of one of its crucial aspects. And that really bums me out. Like, that really makes me feel like, well, it's cool that everybody in tournament formats wants to run the best cards, but now in casual formats, my casual decks that I really enjoyed piloting and did well aren't going to be anything I'm going to bring to casual anymore.
I mean, can't you still, if you're playing casually, you can still play under whatever set of rules you want to play under. I mean,
No,
why
but
it's
I mean, who
casual.
does that? Like,
A
who's
lot of
like,
people
hey,
do that.
hey,
A
we're gonna
lot of
play for
people.
funsies, guys. Let's just make up some rules.
That's
I
why
don't
it's
know.
called casual. Like, a lot of people have house rules. It's not uncommon. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to play along the Gamma run in a non-force lock deck, I mean, who cares? I mean, I don't think your wife's going to mind you playing two Gamma run in your Liberty deck.
I play
She'll,
with other people.
she'll
Thank
get
you very
over it.
much. I play with other
I'll
people.
I'll let you play with Liberty and Gamma run together.
Sure. Point is that, I think something that is missed a little bit from the conversations online is that this change affects more than just Force Lock.
No, it
And
does.
that is disappointing. The freeloaders and dash change was, dare I say, brilliant because it only affected one deck type. And this doesn't just affect one deck type.
But now, see, I don't think like a solution, or let me figure out how to say this. I don't think, obviously, putting him on the restricted list wasn't going to solve anything. It was just it would have hurt everything way more.
I don't think they
So
could have done anything to solve anything. I mean, I want to get that out of the way first. Like, this is not me saying, oh, they chose the poor option,
Right,
like,
right.
like
No, I'm
this
not
is-
saying that either. But
yeah,
I'm
this
saying,
is me just saying that the option that they went with, unfortunately, affects more than what they, if
That
you're
is
trying to
like-
toss, dynamite in a barrel of fish to get them all, it's going to have a much bigger impact than that. And I think that's what happened here. So
it's unfortunate, but the meta at nationals wasn't right. I don't want to say it was unhealthy. It wasn't right. There was 15 out of 16 decks in the top 16 were a force lock variation.
sure.
Am I correct on that? I can't really remember at this point.
There was a handful. No, there was
There
I
was
want to
one
say
sleuth
one or two
deck.
smugglers, and there was a sleuth deck. So,
Okay, but
and then there was only 15 of the top 16. So you had about 12, maybe 11 people running Force Lock.
yeah, I mean that's 3/4 of the top 16 force lock,
Sure.
and probably that same percent of the field was force lock. I don't know. That's just not right. It's not. I'll just say it's not healthy. It's not good where 75% of your meta is one deck.
Yeah, but
Um,
I mean, to be devil's advocate, right? That one deck was constructed of how many cards from the Echo Cycle? Double
These two
Yoda, double
sets-
Gamor, and then Matt Cole's Team Tarkin's deck had double Leia. So I mean, they were playing 60% of their deck was from the latest cycle. So it's weird to me to chastise a deck when it's more than 50% focused on just cards that just came out. It's so weird to say, oh, our environment was horrible because people were playing with the new cards. like that doesn't seem right at all.
Yeah, I mean, this cycle was definitely a few steps ahead of everything else on the power level, right? I mean, so yeah, the decks are probably gonna be a majority of the Echoes cards, but like, you just can't let an environment go on where 75 to 80% of the environment is this. You know,
right,
they had to do something. yeah, they could release stuff, but I mean, there's constraints on that. We don't know the manufacturing process and what's involved in that, and why there's been delays on Between the Shadows. We don't know any of that.
Yeah.
But like, they had to take a step in the right direction.
I disagree. I don't think they had to do anything. I think if Between the Shadows came out in time for Worlds, I don't think they would have done. I speculate that they would not have done anything. Yeah. I don't know for certain. You know,
I would have hoped they wouldn't have done anything with, you know, Between the Shadows coming out.
But see, even that, like, you know, kind of makes me sad, because then we're just doing change just for the sake of change, right?
Oh, there you go. I was waiting for it. I knew I should have never said that.
So
this is not change for the sake of change.
I'm totally indifferent on this. I've already said my piece about whether or not things needed to happen. They happened. I'm just sad that other decks that were playable are now not as good. That's a bummer. And I think any time that you say, no, I'm just not even going to say that. You know, let's just point out too that these are now another 2 cards that were affected, and they're all from the Echo Cycle. So it definitely felt like Echo Cycle, maybe Darkside could have used some better cards.
Probably is true.
Yeah. Hopefully going forward, you know, that's going to change. Hopefully Between the Shadows will really knock things out of the park in terms of getting everything kind of lined up and back to awesomeness.
Yeah. Hopefully things shift back closer to a 50-50, but I don't know.
David asked, will both versions of May the Force Be With You trigger once per turn? I would say yes. If you have 2 in play?
Correct. That I don't know.
I don't see why it wouldn't. You would have 2 instances of a card that does something.
Do we have anything? Well, I don't know. They said Along the Gamor Run was redundant.
Yeah, Yoda Man says that it's in there.
That they will trigger?
Yeah, that they both trigger. So that's fine. All right, so final topic. Are you ready?
Sure.
Are you excited?
Sure. I didn't hear you go boom yet, so...
Yeah, well, just to clarify, this image was made in about 3 minutes, so don't chastise me too hard for this one.
Where in the world is Between the Shadows? Nice.
So we, David says Spain. Oh, classic.
Yes, Spain had it 6 weeks ago.
So we learned today that Between the Shadows may or may not come out before Worlds, that Between the Shadows may or may not come at Worlds, and Between the Shadows may or may not come after Worlds. Which is awesome. You know,
it's awesome because we don't know anything really.
No. I love that. I love that they clarified. We needed that clarification, so I'm thrilled that it was there. I'm very happy they put it up. I just wanted to make a joke out of the fact that, like, we were hoping, you know, that it's at Worlds, right?
Right.
That's the optimistic approach. You know, I already told you earlier today, you know, if it's there, we're definitely going home with it. You know,
right,
I'll definitely buy it from them in a heartbeat. Won't even be a second thought, and I will probably pack a little light just to make sure I've got room for it.
Yeah,
It,
I'm packing. I'm gonna bring a little bit bigger suitcase in anticipation of the new X-wing stuff, the Wave 5 X-wing stuff,
yeah,
and there's a new Force pack for Conquest. I'm hoping comes out then because it's been on the boat for 3 weeks already,
sure, sure.
and then I'm hoping Between the Shadows is there. So hopefully I'll be able. Well, not hopefully, but I mean, FFG is going to get a lot of my money here in the next few
Yeah,
weeks.
like I'm thrilled that we know something now more than we knew before, which is that
Yeah.
it is not legal at Worlds, which is huge. You and I had put off a lot of playtesting
Yep.
um, that I would have been knee deep in by now, because I didn't know if this set was going to be out or not. It's if you just test for one thing and the environment completely changes, it can really mess you up. So 3 weeks before Worlds, we now know what we have to work with, which is awesome. I'm just wondering when we're going to see Between the Shadows. Like, I would really like to get our hands on it.
I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to be at Worlds. Like I don't want
Yeah,
to
I
get
think
my
it'd be
hopes
great.
up too high. I don't want to get them up too high, only to be dashed. But I'm really like if it's at Worlds, I think people will be. It'll be a much happier vibe.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Well, and I think even in the post that they made, they're like, or any of the side events, which I think kind of lends a little bit to that theory that they might sell it at Worlds, which would just be awesome.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
David says, I don't know what we discussed in the first half hour, but did we get excited that there were no tournament structure changes? We did not discuss that. We just kind of discussed what was changed.
Yeah, everything is status quo at the moment except for what we've discussed.
Right. Yep.
I'm
So,
happy. I'm happy that they didn't change the tournament format because I did say that if they changed the tournament format that I would not be going to Worlds. So if they would have posted an update to the tournament rules today, I would have had to cancel a non-refundable flight to Minneapolis, and I would not have been happy. Didn't want to have to cancel my non-refund. Well, I don't know if it's refundable or non-refundable, but yeah,
well, don't worry. The playmat is going to be like Madi, or not Madi, Piet from another angle.
it's gonna be an alternate art Piet. Yeah. So
Yeah. So no, I'm really happy with all the news. Again, I've already said my piece on the errata stuff, so whatever. But I like all the sets we've seen spoiled so far. I think it's awesome, and I'm more stoked for Between the Shadows now. I just want to know where it is.
it's still at the printers apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody else said, and I might have to scroll up. Um, Darth Buckets. We also no longer have the essential conversations on the nature of hope and how things get on the boats, and I thought that was a very interesting way to put it.
I think FFG already has it there. They're just trolling us. They're just dangling, keeping us excited or trying to keep us excited, I should say.
Now we're gonna be
Yeah.
back next week. We're gonna have a few different topics to go over.
I
One
suppose I suppose we can come back next week. No, just kidding.
one of which we hope is price support.
Hopefully, yeah. We were hoping it would get spoiled sometime during the cast today.
I was hoping it would get spoiled before I needed to book my flights. like like
Yeah.
that part has you know
Well,
been a bit frustrating.
the price support doesn't so much influence whether I was going to go or not. I had been planning all year to go, so I had so much fun last year. I know more people now this year, so I'm hoping to have a ton more fun.
Yeah, it will be an interesting Worlds. I'm definitely excited. I'm definitely looking forward to my trip, albeit this year is much shorter than last year's. So
Yeah, you're leaving Saturday or Friday?
it's still up in the air. We're looking at a late night Friday night flight back. We would really like to possibly stay and play in the 2 versus 2 on Saturday, but one, we don't know how much we want to do that. Two, flights late at night on Saturday aren't looking very existing.
Yeah.
It seems like I think the later flight out is like 3 or 4 o'clock, and that I think the 2 vs 2 starts in the afternoon, if I recall correctly. So
Yeah. I'm there till Sunday, so come in
we've
Wednesday.
looked at that. There's some flights late Sunday night. We've looked at possibly doing that. We, to be 100% honest, we were really hoping the prize support would be announced, so we could make some decisions there. But that's all right.
Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're stoked, and I'm looking forward to the next. We've got 2 more regular casts, and then we're gonna have our special cast from Worlds, which I think we're both excited about. So.
Oh, Darth Buckets arrives at 2:30. I might have to talk with him. So, well, I need someone. I need a way to get from the airport to the Radisson. If I could, if I could split a cab with somebody there.
Well, I could always hop a train back over to the airport, and then split the cab with you, because I gotta take a cab over there no matter what.
So, but I mean, I'm just looking for an economical way to get from the airport to the hotel. So if it means staying, I mean, I don't mind sitting at an airport for an extra hour. I could probably just go sit and eat lunch.
Sure. Yeah, it's
So-
Darth Buckets. If you get in at 10:30, I don't know you. I've never met you in person. I don't believe, but
Darth
I will.
Buckets?
Did we meet Darth Buckets?
He's Toggle.
No one told me Darth Buckets is Toggle.
Dude, he posted that on like the chat like 16 episodes ago.
Darth Buckets is Toggle.
Yeah.
Darth Buckets, Toggle. My lord, Toggle. I've totally met you. Toggle. So I will hop a train back over to the airport when Toggle arrives, and the 3 of us could hop a cab over to FFG.
That would definitely make a cab ride very cheap.
David says he's gonna fly in and rent a car and just pick us all up at the airport.
Somebody should pick me up at the airport this time around, because I was the Gen Con taxi. So I mean, it's only right that somebody else is the world's taxi.
This is true. And Darth Buckets, you're totally right. I do never see Toggle in the cast. Why did you go with Darth Buckets in Hitbox when I have to imagine Toggle was available.
Toggle certainly was available.
It has to be. I mean, if Utini was available.
Yeah. I was a great Gen Con taxi. Yeah, I was a super Gen Con taxi.
Yes.
I mean, I drove, David drove with me down, drove him to the airport, which conveniently your flight was delayed.
Yes.
So I was able to pick you up, you and your wife up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Worked out very well. You also dropped us back off.
Yeah. Yeah, Mick, I know Mick is picking up Nate or Ketracel. I was going to ask him, but I was like, I didn't want to imposition him and like ask him to go back and forth from the airport. So I was like, and Nate's not getting in till like late at night, so I wasn't going to sit around at the airport for 10 hours waiting for Nate. So I figured I figured a week out from Worlds, I would have posted something asking who's landing what time and if anybody wanted to split a ride to the Radisson. So, but now it looks like Toggle is my cab partner with you. So we're gonna have to. The 3 of us are gonna have to squeeze into a taxi.
Mick says he'll drive us both if we wait around or you and Toggle until 9:30, but I can't see you guys doing that.
No, that's a little too late. But thanks, Mick. So maybe me and Toggle can. I don't know what time his flight leaves, but my flight leaves on Sunday at like 12:40. So
yeah. Either way, I'm stoked for Worlds. I'm really anxious to hang out with everybody. Like that's really my main desire to go this year. Is I know there's a lot of people coming in that I haven't met that we've gotten to know off of the Living Force cast and Flip the Force. So I'm really excited to meet those guys. And then there's a lot of people that I know very well that I can't wait to see either. So
Yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing Matt Coles and John and Paul and Eric, but you know, I'm being
You're
told,
just gonna throw that information right out in the middle of the cast, huh?
yeah, I'm being told they're not going to make it. Hey, who cares? Was that like top secret information?
Well, no, but I don't know if they would have wanted you to announce it on the cast.
Well, we're still live. Okay, my bad. They are coming. I'm looking forward to seeing them. No, but like I hung out with them last year and got to know them last year and got to hang out with them at Gen Con again. So I
Yeah,
mean, I was looking forward to hanging out with them. So I guess this year I get to hang out with some new people.
some new people.
Yeah, get to make new friends.
Well, you hadn't hung out with Eric before, I don't think.
No, no, no. Eric wasn't at Worlds
Yeah.
that I know of last year, but I got to hang out with him at Gen Con. I hung out with him and Paul mostly.
Oh, okay.
So, well, because
They're all great guys.
Matt and John played deep into the top 16 of the normal tournament, and then they played deep into the 2 versus 2. So
Yeah. Yeah. See, like I kind of want to play 2 versus 2 just because I haven't been involved in the 2 versus 2 environment for over a year.
are
But
you
I just
are you
remembered
chuckling at
this.
David's comment? I thought
Anyone
maybe
can
you were
win worlds
chuckling
now.
at his.
I like Toggle's comments more about like now with one mat down that was almost certainly the top 16. Like how does that affect the top 16 cuts for mats? Yeah,
We need to have an all Matt top cut in one of that.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
just gonna try to make the top cut this year and not have an epic fail like I had at Gen Con. My
it
epic
has been over a
collapse.
year since you top 16 a big event.
Hey, thanks for reminding me.
Well, I think with that news, we can make our final announcement of the cast.
The cat's out of the bag. We're gonna
It's
announce
coming.
it.
It can come out of the bag now, but we need to change. Let's see.
Did you make a graphic for this?
Well,
Because I
no,
would
it's just,
I would laugh hysterically if you did.
no, I didn't.
TGO is pregnant. Sort of.
We'll do it like that.
I
How
mean,
about that? Does that show up on the stream? Yeah, there we go.
all I see is, oh wait, we're going backwards. We're back to the no image. Oh,
There we
the Living Force logo is now really big.
go. It's ginormous. All right, so we lost like 6 people after we said that we were pretty much ending, so they're not going to get this announcement, but that's okay. So officially, we can say that TGO is now one of the members of Flip the Force.
What?
Officially part of Team Flip the Force.
Yeah. The top tier guys. Well, Jarrett left for Las Vegas, so top tier guys kind of fell apart on me. So I have joined Flip the Force.
Absolutely. We are more than happy. We are going to have some additional teammates this year. We're adding some people to the Flip the Force roster.
We're gonna quickly rule the world.
Great players. Yes.
I
you
meant
will.
rule the Star Wars LCG world. By no means did I mean the actual world. Completely
Sure.
ignore that I said that.
So you are now required to sport Flip the Force playmats and Flip the Force cards at all events.
I'm still waiting for that charred Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen playmat that you promised me way back.
I don't know if I'm happy or sad that you remembered.
Or you can come up with that alternate art Super Laser Blast playmat. You know, the one where I said I wanted to see the image of the people on Alderaan looking up in dread.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that one. Like that one's comical, right? Like that one's pretty more. I find the no disintegrations one much more morbid.
The Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Toggle says he wants an Alderaan artist, like seeing the super laser blast in the background.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna do it today for the cast. We will be back next week with another set of topics, hopefully including prize support.
Hopefully.
TGO, I am out of stuff to say unless you have anything.
You are never out of stuff to say.
Touche.
No, I've got nothing useful to add.
All right. So with that, we will end this episode. This we're not numbering these. These are just a special set of 4 prior to Worlds. So
Oh man, I thought we were gonna have some super complicated numbering system like the Dewey Decimal System to confuse people, like episode 10.5.6b.78.
well, you
Yeah.
can call it that if you like.
I will not remember that. So
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will catch you next week, and have a great week or something. I don't have a good sign off here.
take it easy.
May you always flip your 1 Gamor run. How about
May
that?
may the force be with you always.
All right. Peace out.
Later.